Good morning. This is Gil Cargill. Thanks so much for attending today. We're going to have a lot of fun in the next 20 minutes or so. And I'm going to share with you how we use artificial intelligence combined with GPT4 and a few other products to combine and create what we refer to as a sales android. In the next 20 minutes, you're going to learn how we do this, and you're going to learn the results of implementing a sales android or autopilot in your sales organization. Essentially, as you're going to learn, our tool, our system will do about 80% of the selling for about 10% of the cost, and we're going to expand your funnel or your pipeline dramatically. I don't believe in punishing the prompt for the sins of the tardy, so we're going to get going right now. Just by way of introduction, I have worked for the past 47 years with over 7,000 business-to-business sales forces to help them increase their top and their bottom line. I've trained thousands of companies, thousands of salespeople, and sales managers. One of the conclusions I've come to is that if I can help any organization that is engaged in B2B selling increase the volume and the velocity of opportunities going into their funnel or their pipeline, I can and often have doubled the profits my clients produce. On average, what I'm about to share with you before the implementation of automation increased my clients' profits by 36%. I'm going to show you how we accelerate the profit of our clients, show you how to shift your focus from revenue to profit. A lot of companies focus on revenue, but at the end of the day, especially for a small to medium business, the entrepreneur's paycheck equals the profit that the company produces. So as I like to say, revenue gives you bragging rights, profit feeds your family. We're going to introduce our dynamic new autopilot automated sales and marketing service, and we're going to show you how to uncover hidden profits. In a phrase, I'm going to show you how sales androids can double your profits. But first, let's do a little lead generation math. Salespeople are asked by managers to generate leads all of the time. The problem that salespeople have with that request is 3% of all leads, according to the Sales Lead Management Organization, are what we refer to as now buyers. They're ready to buy right now. 97% of leads are future buyers. They need nurturing. And typically that requires 7 to 12 touches per year, according to the Harvard Business Review. These touches can be phone calls, emails, text messages, letters, face-to-face meetings. It doesn't matter, but Harvard showed that if you don't maintain top-of-mind awareness with these repetitive touches, you will indeed lose the opportunity to sell a future buyer. 50% of all salespeople, according to the Dartnell Sales Institute, quit pursuing opportunities after one attempt. Now let's think about it. If you are the business owner and you're paying someone to generate leads, on average, it costs you about $400 to put that lead in the hands of a salesperson or channel partner. That salesperson or channel partner, according to Dartnell, will quit pursuing that $400 opportunity, the opportunity that cost you $400 after one attempt. 90% of salespeople quit after 4 attempts, and 45 to 63% of the customers that say no or not now will buy in 6 to 18 months. So the message is you have to stay in touch with everybody after you get in touch with them. As I said a moment ago, the real secret sauce to utilizing our bots and our androids in our client sales process is they increase the volume of opportunities going into the funnel dramatically. For instance, one of our bots is a cold calling bot. It will dial the phone and conduct messages into English, conduct a conversation with your prospect in English, qualify the prospect to your rules, and put that opportunity into your calendar. That bot can do that 10,000 times per day. So if we increase the volume of opportunities going into the funnel and we increase the velocity, we both know that you'll have more customers coming out of the bottom of the funnel. And that's what it's all about. Now, traditionally, business owners and entrepreneurs have tried to improve volume and velocity by hiring more salespeople. They've trained those people, but the problem is you're looking at thousands of dollars of out-of-pocket expense before you know whether or not the man or woman you hired can sell the way you want them to sell, and more importantly, will sell the way you want them to sell. Or they can increase the marketing spend. But that inversely impacts the sales organization's proficiency, because if you increase marketing spend and develop more leads, someone's got to sort and sift those leads. For instance, according to all of the studies I've read from the Sales Lead Marketing Organization, from the Gartner Group, from Harvard Business Review, every lead requires additional touches. So if you gave a salesperson 1,000 leads today, he or she would have to touch those leads a total of 7,000 to 12,000 times. Consequently, they are abandoned prematurely. One of the benefits of our bots is they never quit. They will keep staying in touch with prospects in a professional but persistent way on a nonstop basis. Entrepreneurs hope that someone will improve the productivity of their team, so they go to a motivation expert. And motivating salespeople does not produce permanent improvement. According to the Sales Management Organization, the average motivation experience changes the behavior of the sales team for 5.3 weeks. So if you want a temporary improvement, let's go motivate. If you want a permanent improvement, hire androids. They work for a lot less money. They never show up late for work. And one of the benefits is they will never give you a lame excuse for sales failure. So let's stop training and retraining. Let's stop manipulating compensation. Let's just implement technology that up to now has not been available to sales teams. Now, granted, if you go back to the late 70s, there were CRM systems being offered. Now, the problem with CRM, and this is not a CRM, the problem with CRM is it will remind you to do some work, but it won't do the work for you. With a sales autopilot implemented, all the work is done by bots until an appointment is agreed to with your prospect. At that point in time, the ball is in your court. Now, the reason I've got the clock on the screen is the clock is the real enemy of sales productivity. Salespeople have 173.5 sales hours available to them monthly. Now, they can't search or prospect while they're selling, and they can't serve existing customers while they're searching or selling. So you have an automatic time conflict. That conundrum is exacerbated by sales meetings, travel to customer locations, preparing for meetings, writing proposals, and the list goes on. You can't do both things simultaneously. So the selling, or at least the prospecting, is very easily postponed. And people will say, I will do this tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. So let me ask you a couple of questions. What would happen to your revenue if you contested all desirable decisions? You never got to show up late for a customer. You maintain relationships with all of your prospects. All active customers receive messages thanking them for doing business with you, soliciting referrals to their customers, and reminding them that you may have new, better, or more advanced services to offer them. We call that reactivating dormant customers. What would happen if all of the sales that were lost last year, when the customers said not now or heck no, were revisited and reactivated? What would happen if you raised your prices? You see, one of the benefits of hiring our bots is you can raise your prices because bots will bring many more opportunities to your front door. My experience is small and medium businesses tend to discount, and their salespeople tend to discount because they don't have a large funnel or pipeline. If you have a gigantic funnel, you're not going to be incented to discount to get the one deal you're looking at. I hope that makes some sense to you. So let me ask you, how does this all sound? Our bot will produce 10,000 outbound contacts every day utilizing the phone system. That's the capability, not necessarily what you might need to do. We will do that for less than 10% of the cost of a salesperson. And in my experience, I've never seen a salesperson exceed 200 or 300 cold calls in an 8-hour day. So we dramatically outproduce the typical salesperson. Plus, by taking the prospecting responsibility off of the salesperson's shoulders, we're freeing them up to go out and make more sales, giving them back a ton of sales time. Some studies show that the average salesperson spends about 34% of his or her day looking for new business. Let's have that work get done by a bot, and now your salespeople are free to go after higher paying deals, longer sales cycle, etc. Let's get rid of the surprises that are inherent in many sales teams. Let's invest zero sales time searching for someone to sell to. See, we call it prospecting, but really, when it's really implemented, it's searching for someone who wants to buy right now. What would happen if you had automatic sorting and sifting of all your leads? So those 1,000 leads that I talked about a moment ago would be qualified instantaneously by artificial intelligence. Once that qualification is done, our AI puts each of those contacts into one of 3 buckets. Bucket number 1 is a positive bucket. The prospect has said, yes, let's move forward, or send me some literature or whatever. You see, our bots read the response that comes back from a prospect if we're corresponding in writing, or it hears the response of a prospect if we're utilizing the phone. Regardless, it understands the response of the prospect. Based on the prospect's response, it will go into that positive bucket, a neutral bucket, or a negative bucket. Depending on which bucket the opportunity goes into, the system will automatically change the follow-up campaign and continue to nurture that relationship. We can automatically approach thousands of people every day, and follow-up is automatic. So now the only thing your sales team needs to do is respond to appointments that have been agreed to by prospects and placed into their calendars. It's really a game changer. You see, the average salesperson has to deal with 83 disparate tasks every day. And I don't know any humans that can go from collecting money, counting inventory, making cold calls, writing proposals, giving presentations, driving to accounts, and do it proficiently against all 83 tasks. Let's take the searching, the sorting and sifting, and the prospecting off of the shoulders of your sales team. Our bots literally level the playing field between the giant sales forces and local sales teams. Our sales teams can make more calls per day than the largest sales force. We can get your team involved in more decisions per day, per week, or per month than the largest sales team. And we all know the more sales activity you produce, the more opportunities you'll get to compete. The more opportunities you get to compete, the more revenue you'll close. We can do all of the tasks listed on this screen with our androids. We can reactivate dead leads and accounts. We'll set appointments. We'll cold prospect thousands of times per day. We'll qualify prospects to your rules. Now, I have to emphasize, we will train each bot to understand 100% of what you want from a perfect salesperson. The training starts with us making the bot read your website. So we know in the bot your terms, your conditions, what you like, what you don't like. We interview you to find out what things you'd like the androids to absolutely avoid or absolutely reinforce. So essentially, when we're done with the training of the android, you have a perfect salesperson that once again will work 5 days a week, never show up late, never be drunk, never have an argument with its spouse, and most importantly, it will never give you a lame excuse for sales failure, like the ones I've heard thousands of times that range from it was the wrong color, the wrong part of town, you name it. The creativity for excuse creation is immense. Our bots can broadcast your voice to thousands of people per day. We will automatically post your message on 7 different social media platforms utilizing the GPT-4 capability of our Android. We manage Google reviews and your reputation, again, automatically. All of this is done to help your organization get higher in the search engines and compete for more opportunities. We say compete because the number one reason for sales failure is we're not there when the prospects want to buy. You see, they may have been very interested in buying from you 6 months ago, but the budget wasn't right. So we abandoned them. Maybe one of your salespeople made that infamous first attempt, didn't like the account, and walked away from the opportunity. Regardless of the reason, if we're not there when they want to buy, we can't sell them. And I know that sounds like a duh, but it's the truth. One of the things that we believe in is expanding the size of your marketing footprint. Marketing footprint, simply stated, is the number of touches that you put into your marketing database on an annual basis, multiplied by the number of people in that database. The more people, plus the more touches, the higher your top of mind awareness is within your marketplace. Increase TOMA, top of mind awareness, and you increase in mathematic proportion your opportunity to get deals. Now, I love this particular slide, and let's pay attention to it because it really crystallizes what sales autopilot, androids, and bots will do for you. You see, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that you can't sell anybody anything of substance if you don't have trust with them. Yeah, if you're selling a package of chewing gum for your local PTA, not a big deal. But if you're selling a computer system, a car, a building, a accounting service, you name it, they won't buy from you unless they trust you. And it's impossible, in my opinion, to create trust with one contact. So you can obtain top of mind awareness with one contact, but you then must maintain it until the timing's right. So even if trust is as high as is possible to achieve, if the budget hasn't been approved, you won't get a sale. So you have to obtain trust and maintain it until timing is correct. This is the beauty of the auto follow-up. Our service will stay in touch with thousands of decision makers and influencers on your behalf. Each outbound message will look like it came from you, whether it goes by text, by email, or phone call. We can even record your voice, synthesize it, and carry on those conversations in your voice. Now, that is an interesting phenomenon when the prospects have heard your voice, even though you weren't physically talking to them. When we get together, let's test that out. 21st century marketing really means we have to do it all. Back in my early days with IBM, going door to door worked. But in today's world, you can't even get into the buildings. In some cases, you can't get into the parking lots. So we have to invent and implement new strategies and tactics. That's why artificial intelligence powered sales androids are kicking you know what up and down the path. We just outwork human-based prospecting activities. I have yet to see a human do as much work as fast and as accurately as our service does. For instance, you may hire the best cold caller on the planet, but I guarantee you by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the message has varied because human fatigue kicks in. Our service, once again, never gets tired, never gives you any lame excuses. We will do cold email, cold calls, SEO optimization through the bots, social media posting, Google business reviews, and automatically seek referrals. What would happen to your top line if every one of your existing customers was asked 3 or 4 times a year for referrals to their friends? I think you'd agree that will benefit you. We will also generate more reviews, especially if you're in a business where local marketing is important to you. As I'm sure you know, the more reviews and the more 5-star reviews you get, the higher you'll rank. And that in turn translates into more business. Let our system manage that for you. Our service will also post to all of the social media platforms that you see listed, and it's done automatically. We use GPT4 to write those messages. Now, unlike other organizations, we hold ourselves and our Androids accountable. So you'll get a weekly report that details exactly what we did for you last week, what the outcomes were of those activities, how many cold calls were made, how many phone calls, how many email letters, how many nurture letters, how many appointments. So you'll never be in the dark regarding the value you're receiving from our service. You'll actually be impressed at the low cost and the high impact that it will have. In many cases, especially if you have old leads, we can resurrect those leads before your first payment clears the bank. We literally just enrolled a new client that had 21,000 dead leads in his marketing database. A few weeks later, we've got customers coming to his door saying, we forgot about you, but we still want to buy. If you have any leads, whether it's 21,000 or 21, odds are some of those people have been allowed to forget about you, and our reactivation activities will bring them back to your front door. Remember, like I said before, only 3% of leads are now buyers, 97% are future buyers, and our bots will qualify your leads, put them into your calendar with an appointment that works for your prospect and works for you. So we're in the business of optimizing top of mind awareness. One of my observations is that many small businesses make the mistake of touching a prospect once and never following up. Let's make sure that you get in touch and stay in touch perpetually. In some cases, it may be 12 months or 14 months before the prospect's ready to buy, but our service will keep in touch with that prospect on your behalf without you investing any additional time. We use ChatGPT to write all the messages. Now, I have to pause for just a moment and reassure you, because I'm sure somebody's saying, well, wait a second, how do I know you're going to write what I want you to? Well, we interview you, gain an understanding of your value proposition. We make the bot read your website and digest your website. And most importantly, nothing goes out until it's approved by you. So it's very streamlined and very efficient. Our cold outreach capability to generate email messaging and email campaigns will produce 13,000 prospective buyer relationships with your company per year. This is all email or all text, and it will get you in front of 13,000 people and keep you there. One of the things we've learned is that our bots monitor your website. Now, when someone comes to your website and requests information, that can trigger a phone call from our Android to that prospect, and our Android will introduce itself as your virtual sales assistant. It will conduct an interview, back and forth conversation, qualify that opportunity, find out what's on their mind, and then make the appropriate follow-up activity. This is an incredible tool, especially for small businesses where you may be out serving existing customers when a prospective customer hits your website. This is proven to be a very effective strategy. We have found that if you respond to an email or a voicemail from a prospect in under 5 minutes versus over 5 minutes, there's a greater than 300% difference. So response in under 5 minutes is 300% better than over 5 minutes. The world's moving that fast. 62% of inbound calls, according to Sales Lead Management Association, are never responded to. So how would it work if 100% of your inbound calls and 100% of your website visitors were nurtured and engaged in conversations with our Android? I think you'll agree that will drive your sales up. We train the Androids to cross-sell and upsell. So just like one of the kids at McDonald's, if you order a hamburger, they are trained to upsell and say fries with that. If you order fries, they're trained to say supersize those fries. I'm sure you've experienced that. What would happen if all of your customers, utilizing your rules, your terminology, were offered an opportunity to cross-sell or upsell? They bought tables, let's offer them chairs. And I'm amazed at the impact that has on my clients' top and bottom lines, because frequently sales teams will take the easy order and they forget to go back and offer the cross sell or the upsell. And we'll do it always with all customers all of the time. We will also nurture all of the leads that are not ready to buy. Again, 97% of leads do not buy on the first attempt. The Harvard Business Review showed that 36% of customers, you'll get an increase in revenue by 36% just by staying in touch with the future buyers over a period of 6 to 18 months. And once again, that's done automatically. Now, we don't know what's the best way or the best method or message to get into your customers' brains. So we will use all of them all of the time. We will train your bots to have the appropriate response based on what you want to do. Do you want them to be enthusiastic and almost hypey, or do you want them to be very methodical and downtone? So we will train them to exactly reflect the message, the theme, the excitement or lack thereof that you want to convey to your customers. One of the things that produces a huge improvement in the bottom line of our clients is we will market to customers that have currently bought. We frequently neglect those customers, and because of that feeling of neglect, they disengage with their current vendors. As a matter of fact, the American Association of Purchasing Agents indicated that over 90% of the reasons for terminating relationships with existing vendors was due to the fact that the customer felt neglected. We will nurture those relationships with an integration of phone calls, emails, text messages, maybe reminders to a member of your team to execute a face-to-face visit or a Zoom visit, but will never allow your existing customers to feel neglected. This will increase the sell-through to those customers, and it makes it a lot easier for them to provide you with referrals and testimonials. All of those produce tremendous improvements for you. Let our bots do the calling for you, or they can do the dialing, your call. One of the best applications of the technology is we'll make a cold call utilizing autopilot, and will qualify the prospect to the point of needing to talk to a human being, and it will suggest, why don't I transfer this call to Emma, the young lady you see on your screen? Emma is a human being. So now Emma only talks to people who are pre-qualified and worthy of her time. She doesn't invest any time or any of your dollars searching for those qualified people. Let's let our sales autopilot do that searching, suggest that the customer needs to talk to Emma, transfer the call to Emma, and now Emma is much more profitable and much more productive at no increase in her salaries. I think you'll agree that's a great application of the technology to augment the work you're already paying people to do. And once again, we set appointments, you'll get weekly reports, and we understand that missing calls equals missed revenue. This is why it's so important to have an Android not just pick up the phone, but pick up the phone, conduct a conversation, make your prospects feel like you are genuinely concerned about whatever they're calling about, and make the appropriate decision to either transfer the call, schedule a follow-up call, or schedule an appointment. Once again, we train the bots to act like the perfect salesperson that I'm sure some of you have dreamt about having working for you. Once again, I love the fact that my bot has never given me a lame excuse for missing a sales goal or quota. Now, one of the beauties of our implementation is the service communicates with you and or your sales team through your smartphone. There is no keyboarding ever done by your people to work with the service. Remember, we don't remind you to do work, we do the work for you. When an appointment has been placed into your calendar, it will appear obviously on your smartphone. 1 hour after that appointment, you'll get a text message from the sales Android, the sales autopilot, and essentially say, how did it go? You met with Billy Bob at XYZ. How did it go? Did Billy Bob no show? Did he request more info? Did you close the sale? Was it postponed or lost? And all you have to do is click one of those 5 links and you're done. You see, the artificial intelligence knows what to do with that contact based on the response that you give it. We also integrate with CRM systems. So I know a lot of companies are utilizing very popular CRM systems. So if you'd like, we will send data back and forth between our service and your system so you don't have to learn anything new. So that facilitates quick implementation and easy implementation. Once again, we will look for your prospects by presenting a compelling offer about your company and your product. We will help you craft what I refer to as a market dominating position. What makes you different than everybody else in your market? In my experience, too many salespeople, especially in high-tech sales, tend to say, we do what everyone else does, but we do it better. Well, prospects don't buy that. So we have to craft that market dominating position and the compelling offer with you. We will look for people who meet your budget needs. They have the authority to spend that budget. They recognize the need to change part or all of their organization, and they understand the timing. We call that BANT, budget, authority, need, and timing. And we ask questions to give us yes, no, or wait answers. This is a flow chart of one of the 17 standard workflows in our system. All you have to do at the end of each of those columns is answer yes, no, or wait questions, and the artificial intelligence will implement the automated follow-up. Again, one of the great campaigns we like to launch every new relationship with is let's reactivate or resurrect dead leads and or dormant customers. We will post on 7 platforms for you. And as I said, there's no keyboarding required. We will maximize your marketing footprint, dramatically lower the cost of sales, and most importantly, we do all the work for you. This will give you more prospective buying relationships, very low cost, and we offer a satisfaction guarantee. Your next steps are to gain insight into your potential by consulting with us, and we will implement a sales potential evaluation. That may become a startling number or a so what. We don't know at this juncture. But let's figure out what's your potential were you to compete for all of the decisions in all of the accounts all of the time. That's optimum. We're going to get you closer to that. Now, I won't guarantee we'll get you perfect, but we'll certainly get you a dramatic improvement. I believe somebody in your market is buying what you sell from somebody right now. Let's make sure that from here on out, you and your team are at least considered. And then one of the last steps you should do is contact me after this webinar and request a test drive. We will send you a copy of this presentation, but we would like you to take a test drive and experience artificial intelligence powered selling. As always, I wish you good luck and good selling. This is Gil Cargill. Have a great day.